Hello, I hope all is well. My name is Camille Alexander, and I'm a junior media journalism and film major, Afro Studies minor at Howard University. As a research fellow in the Annenberg Honors Program, I'm studying the impact of sports journalism on Black athletes. My thesis is entitled The Longest Yard: Pygmalion Depictions of Black Athletes. I'm honored to be presenting this topic I care so much about today, and thanks again for having me. Jim Brown, the former NFL player, sports analyst, activist, and actor, wrote, "I'm not interested in trying to work on people's perception. I am who I am, and if you don't take the time to learn about that, then your perception is going to be your problem." Jim Brown is correct that the burden of producing corrective images should not be placed solely on a marginalized people, but the beliefs of the dominant culture can become public belief in the realm of mass communications. As a member of a marginalized community, the Black athlete is regarded to the level of esteem the dominant culture affords him or her. Sports communication, like other facets of media or pop culture, often reflect the ideas of majority white team and network owners. Within this power structure, Black athletes can be seen as expendable. This idea of Black inferiority is as enduring or lasting as the situation of colonialism, changing only its form in the way it has manifested itself. Media and pop culture will continue the practice of misrepresentation unless a concomitant change occurs in the minds of its homogeneous gatekeepers. The Pygmalion study yielded the premise that teachers' expectations affected student outcomes. This same situation can be true of coaches and the media at large. Our beliefs about another person can influence our actions towards that person. These actions then influence their opinion of themselves and ultimately may cause them to act in ways that reinforce our preconceived notions. Self-awareness, the knowledge of one's motives and desires, is of insurmountable importance to any athlete as it provides the honesty to know when one could have performed better, the motivation to work harder or improve, and the restraint to not act in opposition to personal goals. Being othered or cast outside the purview of polite society can cause irreparable damage to an athlete's psyche and sense of self-awareness. In addition to the struggles one naturally faces during athletic competition and training, the Black athlete has an unnatural, racialized adversity imposed upon him or her. No one works harder when they are neglected or unfairly chastised. It has been the Black experience in America that one must be excellent and work harder than others to prove they deserve a figurative seat at the table. But this practice of being a perpetual underdog is psychologically damaging and has tangible ramifications. To ask what are the effects of negative press coverage on the way Black athletes are publicly perceived is to delve into an ongoing practice of othering and exclusion that has affected Black athletes from Tommy Smith and John Carlos to Serena Williams. I also pose the question, what impact does negative press coverage have on the performance of Black athletes? Kenneth B. Clark, the researcher behind the famous doll study, posits that minority group members learn the inferior status to which they are assigned and observe that they are usually segregated and isolated from the more privileged members of their society. As explained by Harrison in African Americans, Race as a Self-Schema Affecting Physical Activity Choices, the overrepresentation of Black people in popular culture as athletes impacts the way individual Black people are perceived and engage in physical activity on a mundane basis. If Black talent is relegated to athletics and entertainment in the public sphere, Blackness can be commodified and commercialized. The power dynamics of this phenomenon have been increasingly racialized and need additional context. In Pygmalion on the Gridiron, the Black student athlete in a white university, there is a discussion of Black student athletes and their experiences at predominantly white institutions. It is important to modernize the perspective of Leach and Connors as the means of exclusion have evolved to include digital media and social media. To begin the data collection process, Black college athletes will be surveyed to assess their experiences as a marginalized group and gauge their attitudes towards mass media. After surveying the athletes, an experiment will be conducted where participants have the opportunity to be interviewed by student journalists. Unbeknownst to the participants, a group of observers will be watching the interviews. The observing group will then be surveyed, and the results of their survey will be shared with the athletes. The research conducted in this study is not numeric or based upon methods that can be propagated by other researchers. However, the experiment is replicable within the context of many organizations or universities. A quantitative approach would yield a more reliable method. However, the qualitative method will decode beliefs, experiences, attitudes, behaviors, and interactions. Results of the survey will be read and checked for overarching themes in accordance with the utilized theories. The percentage of similar answers will also be calculated through the online survey medium. In conclusion, scholarly analysis of the Black athletes' representation must be buttressed to maintain the position of the media as vanguards of truth, support the humane and responsible code of ethics in the field of mass communications, and to prevent the creation of a permanent Black underclass.